Okay. Hey, universe. It is 6:02 in the morning on the 3rd of April, which means I shouldn't be up. Fuck, man, even though I'm working this week, I shouldn't be up. It's early. I don't have to be to work for 3.5 hours. And I didn't wake up of my own volition today. No, I set an alarm clock because a friend of mine who is in need of some adventure may need that adventure today still. And so I figure I can set an alarm clock once in my life for a friend. And if they don't show up, not even be that pissed off, because I've done that a few times. So no call, no show a friend. Yeah. Trick I've played at least once, if not 100 times. So, with that in mind, I thought I'd do a little pregame warm-up because today, well, I thought I'd run through the list of 16 reasons to quit a job and see if any of them apply in my situation. Starting with my boss is a dick, because that one does apply. And I'm not here to run my boss up a pole. Well, he's already done that to himself. But what's weird is, it's not that my boss is a dick to me, because he's not. He really isn't. In fact, if anything, I get favored treatment. And I recognize it. And so does one other person in the department. But both of us can certainly fall into my boss is being a dick mode at any time. He's not, we're not above that level of interaction. We just don't get it nearly as much as everybody else gets it. And I get it rarely. Mostly I get it when I'm in group form. But frankly, I'm not perfect. Of course I deserve to be chastised at times. But what makes my boss a dick isn't necessarily his way of getting shit done. It's his humanity. It's not there. It's weirdly not there. And so off-putting was this for me that this is a big reason I quit my job. Pause. Okay, unpause. So what do I mean his humanity's not there? Well, very rarely have I seen somebody, especially somebody who wants to be in a management position, have zero empathy. And this guy has zero empathy. As a matter of fact, this guy goes out of his way to tell the world that he doesn't give a fuck. Nothing fucking matters. It's like working for a nihilist, anarchist, and the worst of my old selves all at once. And it's oddly something that at another time in life, we might have been good friends. Because I had a fuck the world attitude about his age, to be honest. He's somewhere in his late 30s, if I had to guess, early 40s. Late 30s. I wouldn't say he's 40 yet. But he is nihilistic to the core. And it's another way in which I recognize how much I've changed. Because this guy and I have nothing in common. Zero. I mean zero. Other than proximity of age in white male America, I guess. Some demographic would lump us into the same group, but for fuck's sake, I have nothing in common with this guy. He's married, I'm not. He has kids, I don't. He's a dick, I'm not. I mean, that's the list, but when you're a dick to everybody around me and not me, that's even worse. I mean, it really is. It's a what the fuck are you doing this kind of fucking shit maneuver, dude? And I've had that thought about this guy pretty much since I've met him. So he's never really changed. This is who he really is. And I'm done trying to maintain a vibrational hum of tranquility around his hum of discordance. It's just too much work. And what's funny is, the job isn't that much work. This guy is a fucking ton of work to manage. To the point I just try to avoid him. Like, his energy's so piss poor. I just don't want to be around it. So I try to find projects to do that he'll come over and go, what are you doing? Okay, if that's what you're doing, just finish it, I guess. That's about how much interaction with him I can take. So, energy vampires are real. They exist. They are to be caution flagged every time you run into one. And I've never run into one worse than this guy. So, of reasons I'm quitting my job, my boss is a dick definitely makes the list. Pause. All right, let's knock off the ones that clearly didn't make the list. I'm not injured or sick. I'm not homeless. I'm not married. I'm not retiring. I don't think. let's say I can't say that with 1,000% clarity. So we'll give it a 1 out of 1 million chance that I'm retiring. I'm not changing. Changing careers will be the next one. Okay, what else can I take off the list? I don't have the list in front of me, so I'm just going to kind of try to go by memory. But I know that I can't take, or that I'm not whistleblowing, so that's off the list. I am not taking coworkers suck off the list yet. We'll talk about that. I'm not being promoted. I didn't get a better job. I'm not being incarcerated, at least not yet today. What else was on the list? I'm not, my skills have not, interesting question. I'm not taking skills have deteriorated to the point that I'm no longer employable off the list. That might actually be true. Well, that's not true because I can always sell cars. I mean, fuck. All right. That's a quirky one. But I'm assuming that you're in an industry where, for instance, systems engineering for Windows systems, and Windows evolves to something in a cloud that's no longer a system managed property. Well, you have a lot of data and technical skill in an arena that's no longer relevant, even though people still have Windows systems across the universe. So you can still go repair old systems till they all die. But your skills have now deteriorated to the point that you are losing your industry. So in that kind of world, aren't we all a little bit sliding into that position because of what the threat of AI and automation presents? What the fuck can a computer do better than you can? Or I can? In the long run, nothing. So there's that existential crisis to deal with, right? But I don't think that my skills aren't sellable. In fact, I think my skills are extraordinarily sellable when I want to sell them. People who want to employ me come out of the woodwork from all kinds of industries. So if I wanted to walk into an industry and tell them who I am and what I could do for them as a thinking creature, I bet I get hired in 50% of those situations. So I don't think my skills have deteriorated. If anything, they're a point of emphasis right now. Pause. So changing careers. This one's weird because to me, the current paradigm doesn't exist where a career has the same emphasis it had when I was entering the workforce. So changing careers was, in my youth, a significant moment of decision. Now, I'm not implying that it isn't still today. You don't decide to go become a coffee house guitar soloist after being an insurance adjuster. That just isn't a career change that goes smoothly. But the idea of transitioning through job structures from one place to another over the course of, say, 10 to 20 years to find yourself in a completely different role, well, I think that is the new reality. I do think that to have a concept of where you are at, say, 26 compared to where you'll be at 46, I would guess more of those prognostications would be completely off than dead on. But that's just watching what's happened to the workforce structural support and, frankly, infrastructure in America, collapse. When I left industries collapsing off my list because I had forgotten that that was something that could happen around here. Well, that's a very real phenomenon. Industries have been collapsing in America for decades, if not all through the last century. And these kinds of hardship transitions of career are real. And they penetrate people from the beginning to the end of their careers or their job affiliations. So one of the reasons I'm quitting is to keep my fluidity of job prospect active, I guess. I feel like standing around in the Home Depot for 6 years is a mistake, period. I don't care who you are. Unless you're going up the chain because you love your job, I think you're making a mistake. 6 years is too much of any job that you are just doing to get paid. Go do something else to get paid. At least widen who you are. Don't get so stuck in changing the price tags on the elements of cleaning supplies in the Home Depot that that's what you do for 6 years. Okay, I pulled 6 years out of my ass, I admit, but still, you get what I'm saying? Sometimes quitting your job is just to give your brain something else to do. Pause. I left one person off the list of things I meant to correct. Actually, I left two off the list of things I meant to correct on this run of reviewing my bracket. And what? I, at one point, refer to my coworkers as my employees, which is inaccurate on every level. I have no authority over a single person in employment in the Home Depot at all. I am the lowest rung on the totem pole, so they are all my coworkers or people who could fire me, I think. Could Dan fire me? Maybe. Who knows? Probably. Oh, whatever. Fire me. Anyhow. Oh boy, that brought a whole flood of memory, or not memory, but imagination wanderings that I didn't need. But, so, no employees, all coworkers. And Bill Binney, the whistleblower, who I believe I called two other names besides Binney, his contribution to our whistleblowing revelations are as significant as anyone. So to have not gotten his name correct was a terrible oversight on my part. And one of the things that I've been fortunate enough not to speak of the public realm very often, because I don't consider what I have to say relevant in that space, nor do I consider that space to be relevant what I have to say. So that's why there's so much disconnect there. But when I do bring someone's name like Mr. William Binney or Bill Binney up and I butcher it, well, I owe him a correction in real time. That I did not do. So here, to the whistleblowing community, is the respect they deserve. And I suppose as an American citizen, you deserve a lot more than that, but I owed you that. So there you go, Mr. Binney. I hope never to butcher your name again, but I am who I am, right? Pause. Okay, I still don't have my list, so I'm going to have to come up with that somewhere in the rest of today. But I think, I have it. I just haven't gone looking for it, to be honest. But I wanted to address coworkers suck before I got to work, because that's the one I won't want to address at work. And I don't really think my coworkers suck, so this isn't something that is actively causing me to quit. But my coworkers suck because they have forced I will say that there is a generational gap that is clear as can be between people born in this century and people born in the last one. And that is, straight up, work ethic, which I believe is a terrible word for this. It's not appropriate, because your ethic for work in my generation was about how much of your motor is going when you are under the task of your employer or some other imagined taskmaster. Figure one out. Well, in that circumstance, the youth have decided that the game is not in their favor, so they'll do work as told and then wait to be told to do more work. That is a new phenomenon for my generation. This isn't how we were taught to act. In fact, that's the quickest route to getting fired and wondering what you did wrong at your last job I can think of. Which isn't to say that that's appropriate. So the reason my coworkers suck is they've put me in the existential conundrum of wondering if they have it right. That barely getting by in a system that's broken is about what's there to be had. Trying to pretend that there's more on the plate than that is just asking for disappointment. Because on that stroke, they're right. So, do my coworkers suck? Fuck no, they don't suck. But that part of their existential, the existential pickle they forced me to eat, well, that part I'm not so sure about anymore. And I hate saying that, because that means I was conditioned to be a robot, willing to throw all my energy into one effort for somebody else, and feel good about it, and feel like I was doing the right thing. And feeling like those not doing it that way are somehow inferior, lesser, lazy. I don't know. So, maybe that's why I quit my job, so I could go think about all that shit, huh? Pause. Yeah. Morning, universe. Whoa. Pause. Okay, unpause. So, moving on through reasons I quit my job. Giving weight to the ones that still have a little bit of say in the whole arena versus the ones that clearly aren't involved. Let's get the rest of the clearly aren't involved out of the way. I already spoke of industries collapsing, so that is clearly not involved. What I haven't spoken of was being drafted. Clearly, at 53, I'm not being drafted. Nor is anybody else in America at this moment, but that could change any day because this is America. I talked about my coworkers. Well, we'll get back to my coworkers sucking, because that's not the only way they suck, in the way that they've caused an existential crisis for myself. And I don't think I'm retiring. That's a 1 in a million chance. So let's face it, I'll probably be needing money in a month. So I doubt I'm retiring. If I'm retiring, that's a bad sign, because that means the world's going to end or something, right? All right. Spoke about not getting hurt or being sick, and I'm not sick anymore. So yay. My skills haven't deteriorated to the point that I'm irrelevant. I don't know if that's true, so we'll get back to that one. I'm not a whistleblower. And one that I had missed, I am not gaining a financial windfall of any kind, no inheritance, no lottery win, nothing of the sort. So, no forced incarceration, which I already mentioned. Career change I just spoke about. Because you want to, haven't gotten to that yet, but let's face it, that's the real reason. Got a better job? Nope. I had mentioned that one. I also said promoted, which was not part of my tournament, so I misspoke when I said promoted. I did not misspeak when I said I'm not homeless, and that's not an impact in this decision. I opened with my boss is a dick, so we've already covered that one. Clearly I didn't get married in the last 24 hours, so education. Going back for some education. Now, it could turn out that this happens, but I'm not planning it. So this isn't a factor in me quitting my job. It just may be where I'm strung out to the point where I got to learn to do this or else I'm not going to be able to eat. This is America, so I could see that being something that is in my future. So, how about we finish off coworkers suck? Okay, yeah, there's the existential crisis of should I just be slacking enough not to get fired? Because I'm not even saying that some of my generation haven't caught on to this. Some of them have. Or maybe they just started here the whole time. Maybe they're just the wise men from fables of past yore. I don't know. But this wasn't my generation. This wasn't my family, honestly. You didn't slack in my family. You fucking did your job or whatever. Like, you earned your keep. You were expected to perform of the contribution you were capable of bringing. It's not that my sister and I had the same chores, but we both had chores or whatever. So the idea that your coworkers will allow you to just continually do all the work, well, how do I feel about that? See, this is where it really becomes a factor in leaving your job, because there are those doing the work and those getting paid. And the ones getting paid still do some work. I'm not saying they don't show up and do what they're told, but that's what they do. Whereas the ones who do most of the work are constantly finding something else to do to keep busy. Which one of those is right? In today's landscape, I can tell you which one is more prolific. And so that's my fault, right? And that leads to the really backside door, under the gate entrance to, well, are your skills now irrelevant? Boy, I don't know. Maybe. Because where does somebody who is constantly looking for something to do with the kind of mind I have and the lack of dedicated skill, like, say, lawyer, where do I go? What do I do? I mean, I can hang at the Home Depot for a year or two, but eventually that shit's fucking tiresome, right? So, am I just going to pop around like that? Or should I go learn a skill, something of use to me, like how to grow weed? I mean, I'm in fucking Colorado, right? So, these are things that literally I think about. And I don't expect to enjoy my job. I don't expect to even like my job. But I expect to be able to endure my job with very little, if not zero, resistance on my part. So the idea that I'm learning how to grow weed means I can put up with all the other shit that comes with it, whatever that is. Doesn't matter. Because I'm learning something of value to me. So that job will be more fulfilling than another fucking summer at the Home Depot just in that capacity. Because what am I going to learn in another summer at the Home Depot? I'll just get closer with my friends. That's what'll happen. And yeah, there's value there, especially with some of the friends I'm developing. But you can't, I don't know. You got to be able to find something better than that to go to work for, I think. So, does that kill both those bracket busters now? Coworkers suck and skills are deteriorating / becoming irrelevant / morphing into something that you don't even like. If you don't like your own skill set, why aren't you changing it? Like, go learn something of value. I would love to learn how to cultivate putting green grass. I would go be on a grounds crew at a golf course just to know how to do that. So, again, yeah, I can probably learn that on YouTube. But you know where else I can learn it? At my local golf course. Working a job. So, to me, expanding and watching what your skill set means to you has value. And that's one of the reasons for sure that I'm leaving this job. Okay, we can, we knocked whistleblower and got hurt. So that means the entire, I think this was the Eastern bracket. I don't remember at this point, but inheritance, whistleblowing, skill set, no skill set, irrelevant skills, whatever, got hurt, got sick. That whole bracket has now been discussed. Retirement's been discussed, coworkers have been discussed, draft has been discussed. I keep saying this is America, so you never know. Because this is America, you never know. All Congress has to do is pass a war act and state the draft, and boom, you're off to war, buddy. I say buddy like that's some fucking hip thing to say if you're 53. Fuck that, what a dick. But going to war is no fucking bullshit. I don't know if the United States could get away with it anymore. Sorry I'm eating peanut butter, but I am. I don't know if the United States of America could institute the draft with the 20-somethings that I see and get away with it. I think just most of them would just no call, no show. But hey, this is America. All right. And that leaves industries collapsing. I don't believe that... here's where a little bit of hubris came into the American populace. No matter what, you can take your automobile production lines over to Kenya and China and anywhere else you can underpay the wage labor, but you'll never get the product you get by the American worker. And the American worker demands quality. Well, A turned out to be true, B did not. The American worker started demanding cheap and cheaper. And this isn't a condemnation of the American worker. The American worker did this because simultaneously 2 worker households became the norm. And what did everyone need? A fucking break. Can't even pull it all together anymore. And whatever argument you want to make that there were more luxuries coming our way and we live in a more abundant lifestyle than ever before, fine. I've reduced myself to minimalism. And you know what everything is today? Fucking outrageously expensive. It's designed that way. And so, the fact that industries collapsed, yeah, some of it was on us. We didn't demand higher of what was there to be had. But you know what? Fuck that. That's not our job. Our job isn't to look out for the industries that support the country that provides the lifestyle that we grew up with. Bullshit. That's what our leaders are here for. And to see us having been manicured to the point we can't even look at ourselves and recognize who we are anymore, well, whatever. Industries collapsing is the, next to homelessness, is the saddest one on here. Forced incarceration's right on the same level. Being drafted is too. All those suck. So, got hurt, got sick too. Fuck that, you know? Fuck. Whistleblower? I mean, Anyway, so my industry's not collapsing. In fact, cheap shit from China is better than ever. The stock price for the Home Depot since I started in 2016, when I started my first round of 2 years, it's doubled. It's 2023. That's 7 years later. That means at 2030, a single share of Home Depot will be worth $400. Because a dollar won't be worth shit. All right. I talked about career change. Forced incarceration is not happening because I want to. When you get right down to it, because you want to isn't just because you walked in one day and decided working this job's worse than it was yesterday, so let's just get the fuck out of here and not come back anymore. That would be because you want to. Because you want to is because all this other shit's kind of piling up on your brain, or at least the ones that are relevant. And of 16, 10 are constantly juggling around in your head. So because you want to might just be that 7 or 8 of these finally pile up enough that you go, you know what? Fuck this job. So really, because you want to could literally be, you know what? Fuck this job. Because all of this eats at you. Are you passing by the last 2, 3, 4, 6 years that you could possibly get some relevant education to do something you wanted to do? Like, be a veterinarian. or whatever. Maybe. And is that a decision that your life will always regret? Sure, could be. But so what? Living with future potential regret? I mean, talk about choking on your own vomit. Anyway, so if you're at a point in life where you got 8 of these nagging at you, what's the worst that can happen if you blow up and do something different? You come back? Okay. At least you went out and adventured. So, marriage. Do I think marriage is a real reason to quit your job? No, I never do. But I can see where people who get married are in new situations that either demand or allow a complete rethink. Oh my God! Sorry for all the bourbon. I did drink some of that sweet watermelon soda. Sorry. Anyway, so marriage is a weird proposition for me overall. The whole bundle of blah. But in this regard, getting married and having your job transition, sure, whatever. But that'll never happen for me, ever. Nor would I ever, ever, ever ask that of someone if it was afforded to them and we got married and that meant they could never work the job they hated again. Oh, great. Awesome. But with me, no. Sometimes I have to laugh at myself. Okay. And education, I've already said, could potentially be possible. So that's kind of it. So why did I want to? Why did I just walk in one day and say, you know what? Fuck this job. Well, there it is. I guess. But I'm not promoting this concept. I'm not even advising other people seriously consider it because their jobs have 10 of these on the list as well. Upheaval in your job life isn't easy. I live with a dog, a cat, and myself in a frankly buoyant circumstance where I can't really fall too far because my face will just hit cushiony pavement. So I'm not risking much. But staying now feels like I'm risking too much. So go adventuring I will. Go adventuring I will.